Have you ever worried about bad karma or felt like the universe was punishing you for your past mistakes? Many spiritual seekers believe karma is this cosmic judge. But what if karma is actually neutral? It isn't good or bad, and it's our judgment of events that makes it good and bad. When people first learn about karma, they often get stuck feeling guilty or scared. They started overthinking everything like, oh, I make these mistakes in my life. Am I going to get punished? When will it happen? I wish I haven't done those things. Or they often think karma as just a simplified statement like what goes around comes around, or you reap what you sow. Sure, there's some truth to these phrases, but karma is actually way more complex and nuanced than that. First of all, karma isn't about punishment. The universe isn't some kind of vengeful score-keeping system or a cosmic judge deciding who get punished or rewarded. That's just not how it works. Karma is simply the law of cause and effect. Think of it like this. If you throw a rock into the ocean, it creates ripples, right? Throwing the rock isn't good or bad. The ripples that are formed aren't good or bad either. It just is. The same goes for karma. When you act in a certain way, it creates a reaction. For example, if you are unkind to someone, they might not want to be around you as much. You act one way and people react another way. If they start distancing themselves from you, and that makes you feel lonely or isolated, then they are just reacting to what you have done. But is it something bad? Is it some kind of cosmic retribution? Or is it just simply the natural change of reaction from what you did in the first place? Good and bad are just labels we apply to our experiences. It's all subjective. This reminds me of a parable I really like. So once there's this poor Chinese farmer who loses his horse. His neighbor come and say, "Oh, that must be awful for you." But this farmer just shrugs and say, "Maybe." A little while later, the horse come back and it brings another horse with it. The neighbor then gets excited for the farmer and say, "Wow, you have such great luck." And the farmer says, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's sons try to tame the new horse, but he falls and breaks his leg. The neighbor then come and say, "Oh no, that must be terrible." And again, the farmer say, "Maybe." Not long after, the emperor declared war and ordered all the able-bodied men to fight. Many of them died and don't make it back. But the farmer's son can't go because of his broken leg. The neighbor then come by again and say, "What great luck and fortune your son have." And you guess it, the farmer just say, "Maybe." The point of this story is, what's good or bad really depends on how you look at it. It's all about perspective. Just because you experience a challenging event doesn't mean it's bad karma, right? When I went through depression, a lot of people saw it as something bad. But honestly, it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. It triggered my spiritual awakening and led me to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Without that experience, I wouldn't have realized how chaotic and out of control my mind has been. I also wouldn't have such a deep connection with my spiritual self. So, was my depression good or bad? It's all about how you look at it. The event itself is actually neutral. The karma we face is simply a result of our past action. It's neither good nor bad. It's just part of our soul's journey. The reason why we often think of karma as good karma and bad karma is because we are so conditioned to this idea of rewards and punishment. It's something that we are taught very early on by our parents, in school, or even by the government. If we do what other people want, we'll get rewarded. And if we don't do what they want, we'll get punished. Like in Singapore, we have this app that tracks our steps, how much steps we take a day. And we receive with transport rebates if we exercise. And I get that this system encourages people to exercise, But people also lose their own sense of values and standards and priorities. They only exercise to get the transport rebate, not because they truly care about their health. It's the same with karma. Doing something good just to earn good karma and brownie points, or avoiding something bad out of fear of bad karma. It's like we're seeing the universe as our parents. We're just trying to be a kid, trying to follow the rules to avoid getting into trouble or to earn a reward. But here's the thing, karma isn't just about action, it's about intention. When you do something just to avoid punishment or just to get a reward, then it's not really coming from your true self. The intention isn't aligned with who you are. Your natural state is one of peace and love. Acting the part is not the same as being the part. It's like you're playing a role instead of genuinely living it. Karma isn't about pleasing some cosmic judge out there. It's about being in tune with your true nature. Another reason why a lot of people think of karma as a form of punishment is because it acts as a form of relief. When we feel guilty about something we've done, getting punished for it actually makes us feel a little better. I used to teach this adult student accounting, and anytime he make a mistake, he would start swearing at himself out loud. I would just sit there thinking, wow, is that really necessary? Is that really a need to scold yourself for such a small mistake? We lean into self-punishment sometimes as a way to ease the pain of our own mistake, as an atonement for our sin. Bad karma is just a concept we use to help us find emotional relief. It's not reality. Seeing karma as a punishment also helps some of us deal with the sense of unfairness or injustice, especially when we see someone do something awful and they get away with it. Believing that they will eventually face some bad karmas give us a bit of relief from the anger and frustration we feel in these moments. Some people believe that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. But the truth is, good and bad things happen to everyone. It doesn't just happen to like good people or bad people. Good and bad is just a simplified way to look at karma. It's a very 3D concept which makes sense for the physical world and 3D consciousness. But once you move into 5D consciousness and beyond, the idea of rewards and punishment doesn't really exist anymore. You're not some child being punished or rewarded by the universe. The universe is also not your parent. Both of you are actually co-creators. Before you even come into this lifetime, your soul already knows some of the challenges you're going to face ahead. And no, this is not a punishment. These challenges aren't forced on you. You're actually volunteer for them. But our 3D mind, conditioned to think in terms of good and bad, struggle to understand this. Like, why would anyone choose to experience challenges? Why would someone volunteer to face a disability or a tough childhood? Why would anyone choose to suffer? The answer is growth and mastery. Our limited mind can't grasp the bigger picture. In 3D consciousness, we see everything as a blessing or a curse. But in 5D consciousness, everything good or bad can be used to our benefit. True freedom doesn't come from experiencing the good stuff only. Real freedom is being able to navigate any situation, no matter how it looks on the surface. You came here for expansion, to learn how to handle it all. If you have ever read this book, Destiny of Soul by Michael Newton, it talks about how you actually choose your circumstances before reincarnating. You choose your body, your family, your challenges. Like you are given a few choices based on what you want to learn this lifetime and the karma you want to work through in this lifetime. You don't remember any of this once you're here. You have some kind of like past life or afterlife amnesia. Because if you knew exactly what was going to happen, like you're going to face an accident or tough experience, you will be so anxious about it that you'll miss the lesson your soul is trying to learn. You get so wrapped up in worrying about the future that you forget to live in the present. That's why seeing karma as good and bad isn't helpful. It keeps you stuck in fear and worry, waiting for something negative to happen instead of fully experiencing life in the now. There are actually three types of karma, but most of us tend to focus on the first one, which is accumulated karma. This is a karma from your past and even previous lifetime, waiting to be manifested. They have not manifested yet. Honestly, we don't need to stress about this too much because most of us don't remember our past life or know when the karma will show up. So worrying about this is kind of redundant. The second type of karma is ripened karma. This is the stuff we are dealing with right now, the consequences of our past action. Those karma that has manifested in this lifetime. There's not much we can do here either. We can't change it, but we can choose how we respond. It's all about accepting it, learning the lesson our soul needs, and moving forward so we don't keep repeating the same cycle. But what most people overlook is the third kind of karma, which is the most important one. This is the karma we are creating right now. Our current action is shaping our future experiences. This is where we actually have control. No matter what karma you have experienced so far, you get to decide how to move forward. How will you change the direction of your life? If you are stuck in fear and guilt, it's hard to see the bigger picture. You might blame yourself for your past mistake and think you deserve the tough time you're going through. But this mindset just keeps you trapped in the past. The way forward isn't self-punishment, it's acknowledgement. Admit your mistake, accept them, and then ask yourself, what can I do differently now? Karma isn't some fixed, predetermined thing. Yes, may have planned to experience certain challenges in this lifetime, but not everything is planned out perfectly before we reincarnate. Not everything is destiny and fate. There's actually some wiggle room. There's some room for us to play around. There are always several alternate paths you can take, and free will is a huge part of it. If you don't like what you're experiencing, you can change it. Your action and intention today shapes your future. You get to decide how to shape your karma moving forward. So the power is actually in your hands. And the purpose of these challenges is never about suffering. The purpose is to learn, grow, and evolve from these experiences. You have to remember that you never are given more than you can handle because you don't clear all your karma in one lifetime. Your soul chooses the part you want to work on this time round, which means whatever you are experiencing right now in this lifetime, you can handle it. Also, karma isn't a straightforward one-to-one exchange. Like if I have a past life as a witch who was burned alive, that doesn't mean I come back in this lifetime to burn others. It's not about switching roles, like being a victim one life and then being a perpetrator the next. It's actually much deeper than that with a lot more nuances. For example, if you were a king or a queen in the past life and you misuse your power, in this life you might come back to experience what is it like to feel powerless. The situation may not look the same. You might be a struggling single parent instead of a ruler, but the underlying lesson is still there. Karma isn't something we need to overthink. It's more about taking life as it comes. A viewer asked me, if I help someone, am I actually helping them? Or could I be interfering with their lessons and not really helping them in the long run? But here's the thing, helping comes in many forms. Sometimes it's giving advice that helps someone see something about themselves, like recognizing an unhealthy relationship pattern so they can break the cycle and grow. Other times, help might be a part of our soul agreement. For example, you can enter a relationship knowing it's going to end painfully, but that pain teaches the person how to overcome their feeling of unworthiness. It might not feel like help in the moment, but from a bigger spiritual perspective, it is. So, should you help or not? I think you always need to trust your gut. If your intuition tells you that to go and help, then go ahead. But if it doesn't feel right, then step back. At the end of the day, it actually doesn't matter. You can't force someone to wake up or to realize something. You can give advice, but if they are not willing to hear it, if you're not ready to hear it, it just won't sink in. Sometimes hitting rock bottom or going through a tough relationship is what they need more than advice. And you can't really interfere with someone's karma. They have to figure it out for themselves. Maybe they keep getting stuck in the same pattern, like dating unavailable people or repeating the same mistake. Others might see it easily, but they won't see it until they are ready. You can guide and support them, but the action and realization have to come from themselves. Only they can create a new path and a new set of karma for themselves. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about your soul's journey and reincarnation, watch this next video.